Hello out there. Doing a little update video. Had some new Q posts come out. So we want to talk about those a little bit. And get into some other stuff. So there was some new Q post I want to touch base on, and then maybe possibly go into a little bit about, I got some declassified docs on MkUltra that we'll talk about a bit. And okay, hear me. Okay, so on February 15th, 2018, 2110, it would be his 767th post. Okay, so there was some stuff posted here on MkUltra, the CIA's mind control program. Q, there's, you reposted somebody's post to bring up the, show you what's being talked about here. And then Q post, have any recent shooters received therapy in the past? ? Be the attitudes that we know you are, period. You were chosen for a specific reason. Be the autoits we know you are. You were chosen for a specific reason, period. Q. Yeah. So then they, gets into the post before that, talking about the frequencies, incoming signals, modify code program. It's going over mobile phones and to target a subject, and it's just getting into some stuff that I've done the research on in the past. So here we go. We got the MkUltra c.i.a. program of research and behavioral modification. This is all declassified stuff. Project MkUltra, the CIA's program of research into behavioral modification. So, you had all this research and testing going on back, in the late 50s and through the 60s. And just, you get down here, I was reading page 7. The most significant new data discovered: first, the names of researchers and institutions who participated in the MkUltra project. And secondly, a possible improper contribution by CIA to a private institution. We are now in the possession of the names of 185 non-government researchers and assistants who are identified in the recovered material dealing with the 149 sub-projects. The names of 80 institutions were also, or work was done with these people were affiliated, are also mentioned. The institutions include 44 college or universities, 15 research foundations, or chemical or pharmaceutical companies, and the like. 12 hospitals or clinics, in addition to those associated with the universities, and 3 penile institutions. While the identities of some of these people and institutions were known previously, the discovery of the new identities adds to our possible knowledge of MkUltra. So what this is kind of talking about is the use of, think of medicines beyond, helping or curing. that they've been using these, whether it's, what's kind of coming out and what's the chatter is they're, using these certain drugs with therapy sessions and being able to, through smart technology, phones, Pixel phones and Samsung and iPhones, horn in on somebody. And, what that entails, research, and, I don't want to just speculate, but I guess you can kind of, see what they're saying here. There's been a lot of money spent and a lot of research, and this is, going on since back in the 50s and 60s. And, then everyone's, oh, they closed that down because that's what they said they did, and you don't hear much about it anymore. Well, that's not how typically things work. MkUltra would have been the name of the project in the beginning. It has since evolved, and there's probably, totally different names. But, you read through this Declassified doc, and it goes on to talk about the use of LSD, and you can just see back in the day, for example, Charles Manson. They said, he claimed, possibly MkUltra, and he never really killed anybody. He just was able to go back and take LSD and feed it to these people and talk, and that's possibly what happened to him. It was a trial run to see how well this would work. That's some kind of, some of the back talk going on all this, and some of these newer cases. So we need to look, possibly into all the last recent mass shootings, and did these people have therapy? Can we find that out? Were they on meds? And the signs. Were all the signs there, or, well beforehand? Yeah, it's breaking now that, the FBI dropped the ball. There were some reports called into the FBI field office on this new Florida shooting. And, some of the warnings were ignored or not passed on to the, the calls came into the FBI, 1-800 number, and then they were, didn't get passed on to the local field office down in Miami. So we're page 8. So, testimony of Admiral Stansfield Turner, Director of the Central Intelligence at this time, accompanied by Frank Binger, Office of Technical Services, Al Brody, Office of Inspector General, Ernest Mayfield, Office of General Counsel, and George L. Kari, Legislative Counsel. Admiral Turner, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to begin by thanking you and Senator Kennedy for having a joint hearing this morning. I hope this will expedite and facilitate our getting all the information that both of you of your committee need into the record quickly. I would like also to thank you both for prefacing the remarks today by reminding us all that the events about which we are here to talk about are 12 to 24 years old. They are in no way representing current activities or policies of the Central Intelligence Agency. So at the time of these D-class, this part here, we're getting into, I believe this happened in, the late 70s or 80s. What we are here to do is to give you all the information that we now have and which we did not previously have on a subject known as Project MkUltra, a project which took place from 1953 to 1964. It was an umbrella project under which There were numerous sub-projects for research, among other things, on drugs and behavioral modification. What the new material that we offer today is a supplement to the considerable material that was made available in 1975 during the Church Committee hearings and also to the Senate subcommittees on health and scientific research. At the time, the CIA offered up all the information and documents it believed to have available. The principal one available at the time that gave the greatest amount of information on this subject was a report of the CIA's Inspector General written in 1963, and which led directly to the termination of this activity in 1964, 13 years ago. The information available in 1975 to the various investigating groups was indeed sparse. First, because of the destruction of material that took place in 1973, as detailed by Senator Kennedy a minute ago, with the concurrence of then Director Central Intelligence and under the supervision of the Director of the Office of Technical Services that supervised Project MkUltra. So there you go, folks. I mean, we're just kind of, touching base here, verifying, this is true. Now that's where people, when they sit there and say, MkUltra is no longer, do they mean, it's not called MkUltra anymore? They've changed the name. That's the hokey pokiness that you just, they can't, these people lie. Then when they're caught and they actually admit a little bit, and then they'll lie some more and dance all around it. If it was still operational and fully in motion, would they tell you? Would they just tell you? Under the blanket of national security, can't do that. We cannot do this. So, all right, let's read on a little more here. And like I said, folks, I'm only on, page like 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, this, you could read 146 pages, and really start breaking down. There's heavily redacted. I mean, look at page 115, for example, just redacted. More black ink on some of this stuff than what you can read. So, just for those of you out there, MkUltra, that's hokey pokey, it never existed. There's proof. There's, as hokey pokey as you might think it sounds. It's legit stuff, folks. And also want to touch base on the Q post yesterday. They actually touched base on Mr. William Cooper, Bill Cooper. I like to say a good guy. I grew up, hearing him on the radio and didn't really know much about anything then. This is what kind of. But if you look here as well on Q post yesterday, again, somebody, you're anonymous writer, Q kind of screenshotted took a copy of it and reposted it to give you a context here of what he was talking about. But there's I don't know if you ever read it. I have the 1991 book, Behold a Pale Horse. A little excerpt out of it. The government encouraged the manufacture and importation of military firearms for the criminals to use. This intended to foster a feeling of insecurity, which would lead the American people to voluntarily disarm themselves by passing laws against firearms, using drugs and hypnosis on mental patients in the process called Orion. The CIA included the desire in these people to open fire on schoolyards and thus inflame the anti-gun lobby. This plan is well underway and so far is working perfectly. The middle class is begging the government to do away with the Second Amendment. Like I said, from 1991 book, Behold the Pale Horse. Behold the Pale Horse. So, little background here. Bill Cooper, former United States Naval Intelligence officer. He was a team member, or not officer. He was actually, I believe, enlisted. Briefing team member reveals information that remains hidden from the public eye. This information has been kept in top secret government files since the 1940s. His audience hear the truth unfold as he writes about the assassination of John F. Kennedy, the war on drugs, the secret government, and UFOs, which he was not a believer in the end, folks. He talked about UFOs and things he saw, but by the end, he kind of came full circle on even UFOs. I mean, just look into that. Bill is a lucid, rational, and powerful speaker whose intent is to form and to empower his audience. Standing room only is normal. His presentation and information transcended partisan affiliations as he clearly addressed issues in the way that was strikingly impact on his listeners of all backgrounds and interest. He has spoken to many groups throughout the United States and has appeared regularly on many radio talk shows and on television. In 1988, Bill decided to talk due to events then taking place worldwide events. To talk due to events then taking place worldwide events that he had seen plans for back in the early 1970s. Bill correctly predicted the lowering of the Iron Curtain, the fall of the Berlin Wall, and the invasion of Panama. All Bill's predictions were on record well before the events occurred. Bill was not and is not a psychic. They put is not a psychic. I'm putting was because he is dead, folks. His information comes from top secret documents that he read while with the intelligence briefing team and from over his 17 to, years of research. And that's what they have here. Q just puts big, like this is huge. Bill Cooper, I would say one of his best ones you could actually find on YouTube is Bill, great speech out of, I think it's like Decatur or Lansing, Michigan. But you'll find it. Looks kind of grainy, but it's the message. You can hear it. You don't really need to stare at him up on the stage, even it's grainy. But hey, that's one of the first ones I've seen of him in video. Because like I said, in the 80s or 90s, all through the 90s, it was the hour of the time. The hour of the time. So, yeah, check out Bill Cooper. Check out MkUltra. And just do some research, folks. I'm here to get you get you tidbits and the updates. We are definitely working on some more meaning videos, just to give you, a better broad overview. Of course, sometimes I'm just going to read these verbatims, for those of you that are maybe driving or got headphones on at work, that way you can kind of hear the Q clearance updates, because you're busy and you don't got time. That's what I'm here for, to help you, at least get the little bit, spike your interest, and then maybe you're going to go out and you're going to do some more research and bring me back something even. So we're a team. Again, it's Saturday. I'm probably gonna do another video later today. Look forward to that tomorrow, and then Monday we have, like I said, at least a couple of us gonna be here. A buddy of mine, and we got some good stuff coming. So you guys look forward to that one, because I am. But here we are. Little Q update and some MkUltra. I am Mike from the Patriot Hour, signing out, and we'll see you here real soon, folks.